Hello everybody and welcome to Edmonton Raceway for the second round of a brand new era here in Simraceway. We saw a fantastic first start to the 6XJ4 Championship and now we return to the 500 to 900B Skillquant with some brilliantly coloured new liveries here in Simraceway. All community created. Who's going to be the man standing at the top of the community at the end of this race? So that's the question, and we're going to find out the answer very probably. What a start there by Vagite in third place. Moving to the outside, he should get that gorgeous run into the first corner. He's got to be careful though, because he will be on the inside line. It sharpens up so quickly. He's into the lead if he can make it stick. Great start there by Vagite, and somehow very clean encounter. It's a chocolate grid to be fair. You've got 14 cars all vying for position. It's a tight, narrow circuit. The chicane, I thought we'd see a couple of incidents, but remarkably we haven't. Great start here by the 6XJ4 guys. Right now already under pressure, gets a bit of a nudge from Super Saiyan there. We've got Doc Green in the lovely banana livery. We saw earlier on the Simraceway Twitter the hashtags of Go Bananas, and you can see why. Just behind there we've got RK98NL. He's going to attack that. I think he may be monkeying around. If he can get to the inside, he's going to go for it. It's a late dive, but the gold coloured vehicle is going to stream up the inside of the hairpin, and that may just pay off. You can see through turn number 1, a lap complete already here at Edmonton. There's no time here on this layout for the drivers to breathe and relax. It is constant on edge, it's constant unpredictability, and down through the chicane again. Fights for second and third going through the field at the moment. We've lost a car through there, but we've lost a lot of positions, at least Vallis Morton. Now he's gone out of the race, he's still going, but down in 8th place, he's run a bit wide, and unfortunately that car paid the consequences. Everyone else are looking to bring it home for end of lap number 2. Meanwhile, Vallis Morton is trying to think of a way back through past GT Clean Racer. A couple of debuts here today, Vallis being one of them. Septima Radio, I beg your pardon. Yes, so also nice to see that James 38 is joined the racing team. So GRT has a new member as 1.7 petrol goes up the inside of Septima Radio, and he's going to go right through. James, you're trying to keep an eye on it in the far background there, and you can't blame him. Just stay out of the way and let the race come to you. There's going to be some action inevitably. There may be a couple of ruckuses along the way, and there's the first one. It's GT Clean Racer and Doc Green who collide. Doc Green way off onto the grass, rejoins down in 10th position. He will be fuming with that one. I can't tell you who was to blame. I only caught the incident once both cars had already started the motion of spinning, but it was definitely Doc Green involved, and he won't be too happy. He's just got up the inside of Brocky. Going to lose the cutback, of course, and now Brocky will be on the outside. See what he can make stick here over the next few moments. It's going to be a long shot as they go over the start-finish straight yet again. Down into turn number 1. And it's James's team then. So just found out, yeah, so James's own team that he started. So GRT, being founded by Simraceway's oldest member and one of our most dedicated as well, shows up to nearly all of the races. Very rare to see one of these Skillquant races without James 38 making an appearance. It's great to see, and GT Clean Racer there in a self-inflicted incident goes way wide, rejoins, but he just collided with the wall, lost control of the car. He was able to get it back, but nonetheless you've got to feel like there should be a little bit of upset around that man right now. He won't be too happy. And a bit further up the field there, we've got a bit of action as RK98 goes wide, and Erasius back there almost took it from him. And let's see if he's going to do it into the chicane. He's almost blind now, has to brake way earlier to even see where he's going. It's ridiculously close. And RK98's on the outside, Erasius trying to just fling one round. Still no avail there as they come towards the end of another lap. The battle for the lead still well underway between Vagite and Super Saiyan. But it's the man who started from the second row of the grid that's currently heading the field as we approach the halfway stage of the race. And I think that Super Saiyan caught a clip into the wall on the penultimate corner, and because of that, it's actually enabled Vagite to pull away just a little bit. It's not a safety margin by any stretch of the imagination, but it is a definite place to feel slightly more comfortable. No way to deny that. As they go through that chicane yet again, you've got to feel like that right now Vajai is a man on a mission. He's already nearly 12 seconds clear of that battle that's raging on for third position. Now that one is between Kabaja, RK98 and the Racist back as well. So 3 cars there, all fighting around. We said watch out for Kabaja last time round, and as we say that, he's lost both positions. He's on his roof actually, spinning round. So Kabaja, no star points awarded unfortunately, but I'd say it's a solid 7 from the Dancing on Ice panel, but down to 11th place, which just as soon as we say that we said to keep an eye on him last weekend in the opening round, unfortunately ends up on his roof there, so it's gone completely upside down if you pardon the pun. But he will not be best pleased with that one, I can tell you. 1 minute fighting for a podium, the next minute fighting to get the car back in the right direction. It's a real turn of events here at Edmonton Raceway, and one that Kabaja, I'm sure, would love to sooner forget and move on to the next race. And now taking a look at what's happening a bit further forward, so Team Radio. Septima has moved his way up to 10th position due to Kabaja's demise there. He's got a real shot there at attacking Brocky and co in the near future. Another fight that's starting to brew still is once again that fight for the lead as Super Zion takes that gorgeously kind of livery. We spoke about it last week, of course. There's been a much more similar one there as Super Zion climbs into the wall, and he's almost cost himself dearly. I don't know how he kept that car pointing in the right direction. That is beyond me. A superb effort on his part, but it just is a real testament to how much that man is pushing right now. He will not give up. It is unrelenting at the moment. You see, down that final straight into turn number 1 again. That little crash actually cost him about 2 seconds, Super Sign, and again drifting through turn number 1 like it's nobody's business. He's really trying to take it up a notch, isn't he? He's got RK98 now just 8 seconds away. He can't afford really to let this slip now. He's got to keep his head nice and clear. If he doesn't, he still may find some trouble later on. It's easy to do. He's ragging the wheels off of the thing whilst Vajai is driving a much more composed race. And that's the difference between the two drivers as they stand. One's driving conservatively, the other is trying to find any bit of extra speed he can, and if that means going sideways, then so be it, because he cannot get enough of it at the moment. And down to complete yet another lap. He's much more on pace that time than Vajai. In fact, he was 2 tenths quicker. Is it too little too late? There's still a long way left to go. RK98's in third, Arate is fourth. We're running down the order as it stands at the moment. 5th place is 1.7 petrol. Then Doc Green, who's just overtaken Valles Morton, the 2 debutantes, and that's maybe not. Valles Morton trying to get back on the inside of the chicane, but no avail through that. Giving the brakes again as they make their way through. Onto the right-hander, get back over to the right-hand side of the circuit. Doc Green there just potentially running a bit wide as they make their way back onto the start-finish straight yet again in just a moment. And Valles Morton sees the moment, dives at the inside, but I think he's still going to come up a little bit short. The 2 cars side by side then as they go through that last little kink and onto another lap of the circuit. And somehow Doc Green's come away with it. Valles Morton goes right back up the inside there. It's a very easy move to make. There's not a lot of room for error, and Valles Morton doesn't need any of it. He's back up to 6th position. A great move there by Valles Morton. Doc Green will now struggle in P7 and wonder where it all went wrong for him at the moment. Still trying to think about how to do this for him, isn't he? Maybe twitching his eyebrows, finding a way how to keep that banana mobile at bay. And just behind you've got Kabaja and Septima Radio, who are still encountering the first real challenge of this circuit, which is overtaking and trying to see your actual braking points, because it's so hard to do when following another car. You're actually blinded into the corner almost. Arate is back, and RK98 still dueling over 3rd position, and it's the golf coloured car of RK98 that holds it at the moment, with Arate is pushing 1.7 petrol, and Valles actually are not that far away though. So should there be any kind of incident, then there may be a bit of a repercussion for the driver in third position currently, as they go over to start their penultimate lap of the race very, very shortly. However, for Bajaj, it's going to be a case of he's going to start it right now. Down that main straight he comes, ahead of Super Saiyan for the 13th time today. Since he's taken the lead, Bajaj hasn't lost it once. He's been absolutely impeccable in front of the fans here at Edmonton today. And now down through again, keeping an eye on Bajaj and watching how composed that man is on the onboards. He's absolutely breathtaking at the moment, he really is. And another lap completed, the final one's going to start. Still a couple of duels yet to be resided. And as they go onto the final corner again, RK98 has lost a lot of time. Arasius on the outside, and he's not able to sweep it through. He needs that cut back, but he's got to let off the throttle. He's still trying to push it on the outside. A great bit of driving from Arasius back on the penultimate lap as they start the final minute or so. Arasius back with a courageous attempt round the outside. That may very well be move of the afternoon without a shadow of a doubt. Perfect running there, and he's still somehow got the fastest lap as well, which is beyond me. Arasius back, a real credit to everyone on this racetrack at the moment. What a great performance that really was. We've got to keep an eye though on Bajaj, because he's only got 2 more corners before he's crowned a winner here at Edmonton Raceway for the first race of the afternoon then. Down and through that final corner he comes. He's just got that little pit straight to go, and Bajaj has had 14 out of 14 laps, starting from the second row, but he ends up on the front. Bajaj wins the second round at the 6XJ4 Championship, followed by a confident Super Saiyan. RK98 in third place, and also Arasius back spun. So RK98 third, 1.7 gets top 4 in his debut, and Arasius back off the move of the afternoon has let it all slide away. He finishes in 5th, he'll be disappointed there. Malas Mawson rounds out your top 6 with Jim Wally 7th, Gabasha in 8th, Septima Radio in 9th, Rocky 10th, Doc Green in 11th place, GT Clean Racer in 12th, and GRT James 38 rounds out your top 13 for the second round of your 6XJ4 Championship. Still 3 more races to go here for your Sunday evening entertainment, so don't forget to stay tuned on the YouTube channel and get yourself some nice food and drink, because it's going to be a brilliant evening of racing. Hello everybody and welcome to the second round of the 6X J4 Championship here on Dimitri's YouTube channel. We're here for Simraceway, of course, and what a weekend it promises to be. The first round already was a thriller. Now we come to Edmonton. We've had a taste of what's to come already with the 500 to 900 B race, and now we're going to see what the A guys can do with 26 laps around the gorgeous circuit. So we can already see a couple of details on the screen at the moment as you've seen the championship standings, and of course qualifying positions as well. It's going to be a really entertaining battle here today between a few big giants and also a couple of newcomers who are looking to stake their claim here around Edmonton. You can see already in warm-up everyone's still trying to get to grips at the moment. There's some custom liveries that have been debuted here today, including the lovely bananas, which everyone's seeming to go bananas for at the moment. We've got some great, really retro, what look to be, if I'm gonna compare it to something kind of like the old silk cut Jaguar livery from years and years ago, which is absolutely brilliant to see. So I'm not too sure if that's the goal. That obviously one of the retro Williams sort of colours as well, that with it being a bit more purple, it does remind you very much of one of the old P1 Jaguars from years and years ago. But that or one of the Rothmans Williams, there's so many themes here that the community have created. It's great to see that everyone spent so much time making their cars look great, and it just adds extra layer, doesn't it? That extra bit of interest. Everyone's so keen to see what you've all created, and knowing that if you win that race in the livery you've created, that it's almost like that's your team. I can't wait to see actually if we do get some team liveries coming to maybe some of the SDEV or ATS, any of the big teams that are around. TGR's another one that have recently emerged. Then it'll be absolutely brilliant to see some team liveries in here. Will make an absolutely wonderful appearance. But this circuit, very tight, very narrow. We've seen it debuted many times before here in Simraceway. A lot of drivers seem to love it. A lot of others resent it. And you can see why it's so narrow. Braking points are barely visible at the best of times. When following another car, it can be a real chore to overtake as well. Drivers are going to struggle today, and we'll run you through the grid very shortly. So give us 2 seconds whilst we just get the last preparation set up, and then we'll run you through the grid and some last minute predictions before the race. So here we go then, the 500 to 900 A-class cars make their way onto the grid. It's Andonov that starts on pole position with a debut of TGR. D-Moore in second, it's Master Rocco third, Walker in fourth. Watch out for TGR as away we go down into turn number one. And already the gold team of Andonov has taken his claim to pole position, making sure he holds it down into turn number one. A bit of argy-bargy, we may get a restart, I think we might. A couple of cars there were just a bit misplaced. It was almost like a domino effect, bit of a chain reaction, and we'll get underway again very shortly. Okay, so we're back for attempt number 2. Hopefully the drivers have settled down just a bit. It's easy to see though, I mean the heart rates must go through the roof when you're in this situation. It's a tight grid, it's a full grid as well, bear in mind there's 7 rows of cars. They're very agile as well, quite unpredictable. And with a circuit this tight and this punishing, there's always going to be some ruptures through the system. So hopefully we've seen the last of it now though. We'll see how all the drivers fare as away we go. The lights go out again. And Andanov immediately still darting over, choosing the same line to make sure he holds that first position down into turn 1. Mostrov goes to take it for him. 3-1 in turn 1 almost. As more goes round the outside, that's another restart, I'm assuming. We do. Another restart on the way, and it was almost looking like it may have been the day of Master Rocco as well. So third time lucky it's going to be, hopefully, here at Edmonton Raceway. The drivers lining up on the grid, as we say, for a third time. It's Andanov that starts on pole position. He's held it twice into turn 1, but it was almost the day of Master Rocco last time round. Now that is a very big warning sign to the car in front. They've had their almost like 2 practices, so to speak. Now they know how each other are going to approach that first corner. They know the best way to defend. They know how to attack. But are we going to see any more surprises? We're going to find out in just a few seconds as the lights begin to illuminate yet again. And the cars leave their grid slots. A big move there actually from one of the Go Bananas cars. It was looking like Kobayashi. With Master Rocco again attacking that inside line. He's got to look for a deep move. And he hasn't got it off. And TGRD more spins again. Both of those liveried cars have got one. They're both TGRs as well. So another restart's inbound. And hopefully they can all just settle down in just a few moments. Okay, so we're back yet again as the drivers return to their grid spots. And let's see what Andonov's got in store for him right now. Then we've got 9 seconds to go before we can find out who's going to climb to the top of the standings. Watch out for Asphalt Liège as well, back in 12th position. This could be a real race for the ages. Watch Master Rocco in third. The red car, the 6XJ4 is going to dart to the inside. Presumably, does he do so again? He's going to try it. More still on the outside. Master Rocco gets the best launch for the 4th time of anyone. They all go through again. A little bit of contact. Aegis takes the lead, then loses just about everything, but it's Mapachito in the lead. Mapachito has taken the lead, but he's captured everyone by surprise. And as they go through that chicane, Moore's got wide. Master Rocco clobbers into the tyre, and he gets that car spun back round, but my goodness me, not a good start for the man who was poised to potentially take the lead here. Mapachito has run away with the lead, and then on 2 seconds back. So as the lap comes to a close, we have to see what these drivers are capable of then. Andonov's still second, third place TGR Walker. We've got Kobayashi fourth, Supercar, who is, I think Kobayashi made a bit of contact there, and that was with Kobayashi. So it's Kobayashi who's hit someone. Who did he collide with? I'll try and find out. Anyway, Kobayashi drops to the back of the line and lets everyone else through. So Master Rocco 11th, Kobayashi 13th. If you'd have predicted that before the start of the race, I don't think many people would have agreed with you, or the bookies may have absolutely laughed at you, but Asphalt Liège has already moved himself up the order. We said to watch out for that young man. You can see him there battling with TGR Dimit-R. Go to the inside, in fact make that a top 6. He's getting better and better. Asphalt Liège now makes his way in towards that battle with Supercar 1 and company. Pedro's up there, who's currently in P5 at the moment. So let's just see how Yarsit's going to cope, because Supercar gets past him and the SDEV Bananas car is again sort of settled back down the order, which is not good news for him at all. Through the chicane they come for the 3rd time today. Asphalt taking a bit of curve there, but Mapachito has taken the entire world by surprise. And he wasn't even on the underdog list, we said before the race. I mean, he had a good performance actually last time out. He made a big name for himself, and he just stormed through the order to take the lead early on. It was a magnificent bit of racecraft by Mapachito. I'll tell you what, this man's going to be climbing through the Skillquant at an extremely alarming rate if things carry on like this, because he's got himself a whole world of talent right now, and it just keeps growing and growing and growing. And so it seems. The real question now is going to be, what can Dimit-R do, because he's in a spot of bother at the moment, isn't he? You can see he's down in P11. We'll have an update on him of course very soon as to why he's down that far and how it could deteriorate. We've got Walker, Master Rocco and Rob Nitro. 3 of those cars are set to do battle again in a moment's time. Kobayashi, who is trying to really recover from what was a appalling start to the race for him. Hopefully he can do so before it's too late, but as everybody makes way towards another lap, they're trying to settle into that rhythm now before it is way too late. I think the last thing you want to do is find yourself in a world of bother early on. You've got to try and make the most of this sort of scenario, because that you can see again Kobe trying to open up for a move and it's not quite paying off. Everyone's being very, very conservative here around Edmonton. Into the chicane again for Yardstick, and he is trying and failing, albeit, to try and get through. We've got Supercar now up to 3rd. So Pedro has had a fantastic start here in the opening 5 laps. He's 20 seconds away from the leading 2, who are constantly switching around between them. Look at that, down through the start-finish straight again. It's a 48.4 for Andanov and a 48.3 for the race leader. So Mapachito's not just there by coincidence. He's obviously got the talent to be up there. He deserves it. It was so... Andanov still tries to find a way through on the inside, and again he's failing. Only time will tell if he's maybe got a little bit more in store for us here today, or if that's going to be, well, it's a cookie crumble, so to speak. a long, long way to go. And look how close they almost grazed that red barrier. It is so, so close through there. Everyone almost struggling to an extent. Now down the start, finish straight for another time. And Mapachito looking increasingly more comfortable. It's worrying signs of the time for the man just behind him. It looks to me like there, though, that people are starting to go a bit wide, and I think the first driver to do that was actually Asphalt Liège, as Walker's going to try and punish him for it if he can get to the inside, and he's not really able to do so. And the leading TGR driver at the moment, bearing in mind they started right at the front of the field. Dimit-R now currently 10th, Walker is now up to 7th, but he's trying to fight with Liège, and shuts 0-1, spins to the chicane, and Walker almost follows suit. Very, very nervous at the moment there for him. He was lucky that he got that opposite lock nailed down to a T. If he didn't, there was going to be problems. But TGR and Walker still carrying on and flying strong down in towards the final turns yet again. And Asphalt Liège a bit wide. Walker tries to cut back underneath, realising though that he's going to surrender the drive even if you do get to the inside. And that is a real unfortunate scenario that most drivers who are attacking are going to find themselves in today. Now actually, taking a look back, because there's been a bit of a problem for Liège and it could get a lot worse. Walker's gone through and Rob Nitro is now breathing right down his neck. This is going to be really intense for him now, because there's a long line of cars. Master Octo and Dimit-R both there, both of them as well, are trying to recover before it's too late. We're 8 laps into this race, almost 9 now. They've got to start making a statement. Master Octo trying to perhaps show his authority, and all the experience in the world is going to come in very handy right now. Master Octo been a long-term member of Simraceway before joining SDEV, and now we'll see how that's benefited him going into this year. Rob Nitro goes for a move, it backfires, and he's almost gone sideways, and almost sideways into Master Octo. That could have ended horrifically wrong. Luckily both parties avoid contact. Talking of contact there, Master Octo, I think, taking bumper cars at the moment. Really imagine just how much everyone's trying to push, and Master Octo collides again, and it's a big accident right now. He's struggling at the moment. This is a real poor scenario for him, and it just goes from bad to worse to potentially abysmal, doesn't it? He's just really struggling to push his way through. In towards these last couple corners, and Agus almost punishes him further, but the battle resumes with Kobayashi and Co a bit further forward. You've got himself there on WTTN M1, and that black car of WTTN M1 has been a bit quiet this afternoon so far, as we enter the double-digit lap number now through that chicane. And you just saw there a quick recap of what happened with Master Octo. He caught the tyre, and it's so easily done. A lot of drivers want to take as much tarmac as they can for ultimate traction, and sometimes it can just backfire a little, can't it? The tiniest bit of contact can have the most dramatic of consequences, and so can Supercar 1's instinct. The man who's fighting to hold on for 3rd position is starting to struggle, because Yardstick's gone through, went a bit too wide on the outside of turn 1. And Yardstick collides with the barrier, Supercar does as well. It's almost like synchronisation between the two 6XJ4s at the moment. Yardstick retains 3rd at the moment. So a rundown of the order as things stand. Mapachito still leading as he comes towards the end of lap number 11. It's Antonov still 2nd place, 3rd Yardstick, 4th is Supercar, 5th is TGR Walker. Keeping an eye on those guys as well. Then it's Asphalt Liège, Rob Nitro, Dimit-R up to 8th, Kobayashi 9th, WTTN 10th, Molnar in 11th place, Schutz is in 12th, Master Octo down to 13th, and Agus, our last runner, in 14th. So still, as we approach a halfway distance, not a single retirement at the moment, which is absolutely brilliant, bearing in mind that the inconsistency we saw at the start of the day was completely overshadowed here by some great racing. That is brilliant to see. So it's a 47.6 for Mapashita, 47.3 for Ander North, and that number 6 almost to the inside again. He's challenging for it now. And the two cars are starting to get a bit too aggressive. Now, I know there's 26 laps, but when it's under a minute per lap, they seem to fly by when you're having fun, or that will fly your way through chicanes, either or. They can be really tough at times to focus, and I think these drivers are starting to find that out now. So a bit further down the order, and there's still a bit of a fight forming as Supercar 1's dropped down even further now behind TGR Walker, and I want to try and push that back, and Walker's done a good job of putting his car into a nice position. It's looking solid. And now let's just see what Pedro Ramos has got in response. Can he get to the inside? He's dunking and diving, he's gone for the lunge. Heavy braking there by Walker. He didn't have to brake that late at all, but he's very much on onto his line, and Supercar somehow uses all of the corner and a little bit of a nudge as well, and goes through on the outside, and Walker into the chicane. The two are side by side, and nerves of steel for Supercar. There's a bit of a nudge, and he's gone onto the grass, and all of that hard work comes undone almost spontaneously there. And he'd almost got that place back, and before you know it was ripped from right under his nose. And a bit further down from those two, Rob Nitro and another TGR driver, this one D Moore, who's starting to attack the golf-themed Rob Nitro S6XJ4, and again, the heavy braking there by Rob, and Supercar just struggling to get it right. And as we say that, Rob Nitro has just done the exact same thing, so TGR D Moore is in front, Supercar now in a TGR sandwich, which is, I'm sure, a place where he doesn't want to be, and that's definitely not where he wants to be, colliding with the tyres on the inside of the chicane. Again, able to get the car moving, but a severe disadvantage, and Supercar 1's progress is starting to come undone yet again. So I think we're seeing a rough trend here, actually, of drivers who we predict to be doing quite well actually stepping up a little bit, and the underdogs are starting to take centre stage, or the spotlight has been on them today. Mapashito leading after the first lap was something no one could have predicted. We're saying that Asphalt Liège has actually fell down the order a little bit. And Molnar at the inside of Kobayashi 10, that's for 8th position. The Go Bananas car on the inside there will be the outside of the chicane. He's going to have to sweep through. Heavy on the brakes, and he has got it done. It's only Kobayashi. It's a good move indeed. WTTNN, then it's Asphalt. Shut 0-1 there, 12th. Master Rocco still 13th and pushing on. It's nice to see that he hasn't given up though. Even at this stage, he's still trying to deliver 110%. And that just shows the commitment level of these drivers, as Molnar with a late move on the inside of Kobayashi gets abruptly denied, and you can completely understand why there as well. There's never going to be a contest between those two in that sort of scenario. That is just asking for trouble. And he's not very likely there, actually. Kobe goes through the chicane. WTTN in 9th, and Molnar following now very abruptly. We've got Supercar off again, and the slippery slope, someone may have just poured even more oil on it, because Supercar 1 down to another position, now relegated outside the top 10. A few laps ago he's in the podium positions, and now he just can't get into a rhythm, and it is such a curse for racing drivers once they make that mistake. But we've got a battle further front as well, with TGR D Moore and Rob Nitro up the inside. Goes the white car of Moore, and Rob Nitro clinging on with everything he's got. Bit of a drift, he's got to cut back on the inside of the chicane. He can't muster up the speed, and the TGR team are somehow reasserting a lost dominance that was, you know, completely vanished early on in the race. After the first few laps, they disappeared into anomaly, and now they're right back in the thick of the action. 4th and 5th place for Mr. Walker and Mr. Moore at the moment. more in Rob Nitro, but I'll tell you what, TGR looking very good. They could be the next big team here if they play their cards right. Here's how things look at the moment. And it's Mapachito still leading, with Andanov still trailing, and they're encountering traffic right now. You've got to watch this, because Supercar 1's the car they're catching, a man who's been making a few errors quite recently, and it's not something he needs to be doing now. Look, Mapachito in a world of trouble, and Andanov's going to be rubbing his palms together, because it is an absolutely treacherous scenario right now for the two race leaders. And Andanov may just jump on the opportunistic bandwagon here somehow. Mapachito keeps his all together, but that could have been a bit disastrous there without a shadow of a doubt. Mapachito does alleviate the danger. Andanov also following suit, but it could have been an absolute nightmare. Luckily, the two leaders come through unscathed, and they're able to close out the remainder of the race. They've only got 7 laps remaining now, and Andanov's going to be quite feeling like he's in the moment, isn't he? He's been training all race, so the attention would have been building up from the spotlights here on the broadcast. So with the intention to make a pass, but as things stand, it's from 3rd to 5th, SDEV, then the two TGRs, and that's sloppy! And Andanov is the leader, and it's Master Rocco involved again. You've got to feel like, though, that despite how unintentional that may have been, Master Rocco may have got, or at least feel like, he's got a bit of revenge there. It may not have been intentional. Master Rocco's car was in the track, nowhere to go for Mapachito. A chain reaction ensued, and the white livery car is really struggling in second now, and Andanov finds himself in the lead. Will Andanov surrender and give him that back, though? That's the real question. Will he give the lead back? It'll be a great sportsmanlike move if he does so. And down into turn 1 again, and Mapachito, he's going to have to fight for it, isn't he? And now we're going to see what the boot's like on the other foot. He's going to be extremely fired up. Pedro Ramos calling it a day there. Supercar 1 out of the race, but down into the chicane. These drivers cannot get enough of the action at the moment. They're struggling, and Mapachito needs a bit more as they go through. It's all about how deep you can dig now. And Mapachito may have just dug a bit too far and uncovered some worms under the earth, because right now Andanov has got a bit of an advantage over this. The last few laps starting to settle in, and it's that do or die scenario. It's going to have to be Mapachito makes a risky move. Andanov does not have to take risks. All he's got to do is sit there and sit pretty, wait for the race to come to an end, and he's pretty much got that win in the bags. All a case of waiting for it to come through, though, isn't it, at the moment? And can he do it when the boot's on the other foot, when the pressure's on? Can Mapachito use this to his advantage, potentially? Is there anything he can do, or is it simply too late? The lap's ticking down, the time's ticking by, and the tension's starting to rise inside the cockpit. And it's pretty much the only battle that's on circuit at the moment as well. Andanov has got a drive-through then. That's confirmed. Andanov has got a drive-through penalty, which may just hand the race on a silver platter to Mapachito. Obviously, you may try and do a Michael Schumacher. If you remember back, I think it was Imola. It might have been 2004. So have to quote me and correct me on that, where Michael Schumacher had a drive-through penalty and didn't take it till the final lap of the race, meaning that technically he won as he drove very slowly through the pit lane. It is an option, I suppose, but he's got to feel very strategical about it, especially considering he's only 1.3 seconds ahead. He dives in now and takes it, and Andanov is going to feel like he's been absolutely cheated there. He's reversing into the grid spot now. It's only a drive-through, he doesn't have to stop. It's not a stop and go. So that may have just actually impacted his race way more than it normally would have. So Andanov down to 6th place, and it's not where he thought he'd be after this, I can assure you that now. But Mapachito is going to be one very happy driver currently. Well, one very reassured driver, to say the least. The yardstick's still second, and he is being pressured here by TGR. Could it be second place? It's not out of the question just yet. I tell you what, it'd be one fantastic achievement for TGR to take a podium on their debut. They're 3rd and 4th at the moment, obviously having just passed Andonov. But if they can get 2nd and 3rd, or 2nd and 4th, that would be absolutely monumental. Into the last couple of turns, and look how much wider Walker's having to take this because he just purely wants that cutback. He wants to see somebody get the extra traction. Now down in towards the first corner for the final time today. It's sort of the do or die scenario. And Mapashito through that chicane is looking very nice indeed ahead of Yardstick. Then it's Walker, and then that unpredictability with those two drivers still yet to ensue. But what a race it's been. One of a lot of consistency issues for most of the overdogs. I'm pretty sure a lot of you will admit we've had Master Rocco, who started 3rd, disappear. Mapashito, a complete underdog, getting to the lead of the race and only lose the lead for about 2 laps, but he comes over the start-finish line now. He may be the underdog going into it, but he's a champion coming out. Mapashito is the champion of Edmonton Raceway here today. He wins round 2 of your Simraceway 6XJ4 Championship with a 500 to 900B Skillquant. It's STV Yardstick that takes 2nd. What a result there for the Go Bananas livery team. We've got TGR, Walker and Moore in 3rd and 4th. And Walker and Dimit-R, I tell you what, hold your head high, boys, because that was a tremendous drive for a new team, both inside the top 5 and a podium to boot as well. Great effort. Rob Nitro holds on to 5th, with Kobayashi 6th, WTTN 7th, with Asphalt Fliege in 8th place, Molnar in 9th, Andonov a disappointing 10th. He will be gutted with that one, but hopefully come back swinging for the final round. It was Shot 0-1 that took 11th, and Master Rocco, as he goes over that start-finish line now, 12th place. You just got to really feel for him, haven't you? He started so well, and it all just swiftly turned upside down. A real disappointment in the end for him, but again, I'm sure will be a midfield competitor at least going into the final round. Agus was your last finisher, and Supercar 1, our lone retirement for the afternoon. If you think that was good, things are going to get mighty serious mighty quickly as we head into the 900 to 1100B Skillquant very, very soon. So, hello everybody, welcome back to Edmonton Raceway for what could be one of the biggest races of the year. It's the 6XJ4 Championship and it's the third race of 4 tonight. The 900 to 1100 B race is a long race as well. It's plenty of laps for these drivers, 38 of them around the circuit. So you're looking like it's going to be a solid 35 minutes worth of racing, and with a track this demanding, like we've already established, it can throw out the big dogs here. We've seen it a million times before earlier on. Bear in mind as well, we saw Master Rocco Supercar 1. Two of the real big protagonists there, both aiming for a victory, taken out very abruptly. So it's not about where you start, it's about where you finish. But with this circuit, the opening couple of corners are so vital. If you get a bad start there, it's hard to make your way back through the field. So it's important to mind yourself, be very spatially aware as you go down into all that's actually came for the first time, and see, hopefully you can get yourself through the end of lap number 1 in a nice, calm and composed fashion. It's not like other tracks, this one. You can't approach it with an attacking mentality. You've got to be calm, you've got to remain focused. If you don't, then it's going to get the better of you. This circuit will punish you for the tiniest of errors, and hopefully these drivers don't encounter too many of those here today. It's going to be an intriguing one. You've seen the championship standings on screen, you've seen the qualifying results as well, but who will be the man winning the race in just a few moments time? Will it be Iceman 7 and Rikos is there, or will we see perhaps a new driver climb to the top of the standings? We've got a debut from Albert, keep an eye on him, who's in 12th position. We'll see STEV Sierra 28 as well make his return. Plenty of STEV drivers here today, but will one of them take the victory? So here we are at Edmonton, then the penultimate race of the night. It's Night Raceway that starts on pole position in the gorgeous banana livery. The community winners, of course, all showcased here today. Slippery when bananas is a slogan on the back. Will it be a slippery slope for Night Raceway or an STEV victory? Which one is it going to be? Let's find out. A big start for Night Raceway as the field fall down into that first corner for the first time. And let's just see what Night Raceway can do. Sweeping it through. Late lunge here by Clark. PA's on the inside though, completely on the grass. We may get a restart. I think we will. A couple of cars rolling over. We'll see what the admin call is. Yeah, there's a restart on the way. So let's try this again then as the field lineup on the grid. It will be Night Raceway that starts on pole. He was able to retain the lead and to get out of turn number 1 last time. Will we see the same scenario take place, or is there going to be maybe a shock? It was Mr. PA that made the lunge and got to the inside line from P3, and where have we seen that before as well? The lights start to illuminate right now. And let's just see what PA can do. Big launch off the line, and it's going to be a big move for Night Raceway as they will scrap their way down to turn 1, and look at the Golf livery car there of Tyro straight up into 3rd. Everyone moves through. A little bit of a crash there for a couple of cars, but mostly sound actually. A much better start that time by. Bear in mind. And now shooting our way down towards the chicane. We've got a car on its roof. My goodness me. There must be 7-8 flips in a row there for Enricos. That is absolutely massive, and we may get a bit of repercussion there. We'll wait and see what happens. And somehow he's actually ended up at the starting line, which is never a good sign. But either way, Night Raceway makes his way back forward yet again, still in the lead of the race, ahead of Tyro in 2nd. And now, it's all just going to be a case of the waiting game for the majority of these cars, but maybe not for Clark 10. He's already gone to the inside, and through he goes. He's got a bit too wide though, isn't he, there, hairpin? And he may get punished there for King Dyer at a very late lunge. Not able to quite make it stick, but through for a second time they come. It's been a very tense first lap or so, isn't it? All boiled there. We said keep an eye on him. He's 10th at the moment. The Iceman there, P7. Oh, P9, I beg your pardon, with Andy Bob in 8th place. And the real battle could be here though, as King Dio goes up the inside of Clark 10, and he's going to have to really struggle to get that line going. Watch for Darek as well. We could end up 3 wide here if things go on our way. Now Dio has got to move up the inside, and this may just work for him in Clark 10 under surreal amounts of pressure, and he's got it stiff. Absolutely great move. King Dio moves up. Right, keeping his head nice and down. He's got to maintain that inside line. If he doesn't, then Clark 10's going to bite right back. Shuffling through the order now as well. We've got a bit of a fight there with Andy Bolt trying to hold off from his teammate of Iceman 7. Allberg's there as well, watching on. And Enricos leaves the game, and understandably so. He must have called good 80 miles in the hour, I reckon. There was a solid 8 out of 10 for a flip. Iceman 7 desperately moves his way to the inside of Andy Bob, and he's trying to get through, and he may have done it. It's a solid move there by Iceman, and he's able to watch a counter as well. So that's looking like the favourite overtaking place here on the circuit. Meanwhile, down at the back of the field, Alex Zuzia and Sierra, the last 2 cars competing currently, 2 STEV, and Zuzia normally at the front of the field as well. It's not been a good start for that young man. The field's split almost into 3 distinct groups at the moment. You've got the lead 2 with PA tagging along, then you've got the battle for 4th, and then the battle for 8th position, so it is quite a varied field at the moment. And that is Yetis Murch up the inside of Darek there, so that's all the way down for P7. Let's see what Yetis Murch can do as they make their way towards the chicane. Oh, collision there as well as Darek and Clark 10 collide, and it's Clark 10 that's got the brunt force there. So off into the gravel he goes. And he's going to recover quickly. One of the small perks of this circuit, if you do go wide, you will be rebounded back onto the track very shortly. Tyro, however, looking to rebound past Night Raceway for the race lead. Now to the outside he goes, having to sweep it round. He'll be late on the brakes. And he's going to have to try and get that inside line going for the chicane, isn't he? And he's going to struggle again. But I'll tell you what, it was good defending there by Night Raceway. He knew it was coming, and this is only going to play into the hands, really, of Mr. PA, because he's going to make his way through, and he's going to go a bit wide there, almost clipping the inside of that barrier. It's scary stuff. isn't it, when you look at an on-board through the inside of that corner. You've got a feeling one of these cars are going to clobber it eventually. Allberg, they're almost side by side with Hesh, and one of them almost took the inside, and Hesh may get the inside of Allberg in towards that cheeky little hairpin. He's down to 50 mile an hour, bit of a clatter, and the two still remain side by side. Bit of touring car racing there for this little nimble car. Hesh moves forward a position, and as we start that number 7 of 38, Allberg's going to have to be very, very careful with this one. Again, braking much earlier to sneak underneath. Hasn't quite worked just yet. Hesh 38 is moving forward, so up to 9th position. And another lap in the books for these drivers, and everything is starting to settle down just a little bit, bar one real battle. And that one real battle happens to be the most important on the circuit. Tyro is using everything in his arsenal here to pass Night Raceway before it's too late. Because before you know it, it's all just going to sleep away. And I'll tell you, let's just take a ride on board with Tyro at the moment then, so you can see from his perspective just how much work's being put in. There's that barrier we're talking about, the one with the red tyres. So easy to clip it on the exit to the penultimate corner, and Tyro having to steer right before he turns in. It's difficult to get this car lined up perfectly. If you haven't bought this car yet, thinking of getting hold of it, it is $2.50 or 2,500 credits on Simraceway. An absolute bargain of a buy. If you buy it before next Wednesday, you too can join in this championship for the final round, which is set to be an absolute thriller, so you won't want to miss that one. Tyro's going to go into that chicane looking like a changed man very soon, because he is keeping the pressure on Night Raceway, but the SDEV driver knows exactly how to handle himself in these situations. We've got a bit further behind as well, Iceman and Darek are starting to endure their own little war through the chicane. It's the Williams inspired livery, one of the old school, I think the 94 Williams of Iceman 7 at the moment, trying to chase down Darek, and it's going to be very intriguing to see if he can get it done or not. And the bright yellow car of Darek is hardly an easy target to miss, but Iceman 7 seeming to line him up in his sights, and he's just waiting for the opportune moment. It wouldn't surprise me if it was at this very spot in just a couple of laps. You can get an almighty draft here, and those rear wings play such a vital role in the slipstreaming, and Iceman late on the brakes. He's got enough room, he may just slide through now a lap earlier than anticipated. Indeed he does. Signed, sealed, delivered, sticking in the post box. Iceman 7 moves up to 6th position, so SDEV getting some reinforcements in the midfield then. They're starting to push their way back through, and as things stand at the moment, it's Night Raceway that leads just from Tyro in 2nd. It's PA who's trying to cling onto them in 3rd, with Dio 4th, then yet is Much, and now Iceman 7 with a chance to break away. So this is going to be good for Iceman 7. We'll see if he can provide some rear gunner support to his teammate in the long run, and he's going to need that now, because Tyro is launching an all-out ensemble against Night Raceway. And again down through that chicane. Look at Tyro's drifting through there. Night Raceway looking so much more cool, calm and collected, whereas Tyro is just ragging the life out of the car, throwing it around the circuit like a rag doll, and in return it's giving us a hotly anticipated battle down in towards that penultimate corner. So the lap's very rapidly ticking on by here at Edmonton Raceway. Don't forget, if you want to ask us any questions here on the broadcast, then just simply tweet us at Simraceway. All the information you need is in the YouTube description, involving our Facebook, Twitter, my personal Twitter. And don't forget, if you're on the Simraceway website, you can get onto the web chat, which is completely free once you've made an account. So sign up, get on the web chat, and you can talk to all the drivers that have been in action today. Our event administrator as well, maybe a member of staff, or if you've got any questions, that will be the best place to get them answered. And now down into the penultimate turns again, and Tyro looking a lot more physical right now, because Night Raceway had to back off a little, just purely because he hasn't had enough momentum on his side. He's made a few mistakes, and Tyro's going to punish him for it if he can get to the inside. He's going to be squeezed to the edge of the wall, and it's like they're on a scale electric. There was nothing between them there. down into the first corner again, and Tyro trying a slightly different way here round the outside, and he's got to cut back underneath, and he really is giving it 110% at the moment. That man is on fire. Back through the chicane they come, and Raceway is having to really eke out every bit of defensive strategy he's got. It's almost like he's got to rewrite the defensive playbook at the moment. And now down in towards that last turn again. Tyro's going to turn in nice and early, and watch out for Raceway though. He's very calm in these situations, already established, but even the finest drivers seem to wobble here at Edmonton Raceway. The airport circuit notorious for turning races around in a heartbeat, and Tyro's heartbeat may be through the roof, because again he's almost making that move stick, and again he's coming close, and it's not quite paying off. Almost clipping the inside tyre barrier there for Raceway. It's just going to give Tyro that bit of mental edge as they're going towards the second part of the circuit. You can't really blame him for that, can you? It's almost everything he possibly wants at the moment. Into the hairpin, he's trying to sneak underneath, and I tell you what, Raceway won't even know where to look at the moment. It's like trying to babysit a group of tyrants who are just trying to run you ragged. You've got no idea where to place your focus, because within 2 seconds he's moved to the other side of the track, and again trying around the outside, and he's trying to break very deep into the corner to swing it underneath, and again it hasn't worked. So he's trying his best here, but it's just seemingly not enough at the moment. The defensive prowess that we've got of Raceway is starting to come to fruition. A bit further behind, PA now 10 seconds away. Dio still fourth with yet as much still in P5. Iceman is actually gaining on them a little bit though. He's about 5 seconds clear. So remember, Iceman broke clear of Darek and company, and he's now going to focus on those 2 cars ahead of him. So keep a very keen eye on Iceman 7's lap time. He's going towards the end of one now, so he will update you just with what the lap time is. So he's going to go over the start-finish straight. It's a 47.1 and a 47.3 for yet as much. So he is faster than the 2 cars he's chasing, which is fantastic news for the STEV star, and maybe for the race leader as well, because it just reaffirms him with a bit of hope that he might get some rear gunner support. And by that what we mean is just aiding as a distraction for Tyro, giving him that consequence where if he does go for a move, there's no guarantee that it's physically going to pay off. He doesn't have to worry at this moment. If he goes for a move, he's got a 9-second margin back to PA. It's not the end of the world. However, if he does it when there's an STEV driver parked right behind him, then he has to think twice, maybe even 3 times before asserting himself up the inside for a racing move. There's a lot to do with this game right now, and you can just feel the tension starting to rise a bit further behind as well, as yet as much is battling hard there with King Dio, which is even better news for Iceman 7, because the gap is going to somewhat crash a lot faster than we first thought. And even further behind there, Darek's just hit the wall again, almost scraped the tyres there. STEV Andy Bob currently holds 8th position, but how much longer really? You've got Hesh 838 lining up just behind. They go through that penultimate turn, and Hesh looking to maybe stick one to the inside. Andy Bob's got other ideas, completely cuts the move off, and Hesh can't quite get to the inside despite a very brave move and a very brave facade. It's seeming like the STEV team have maybe worked a bit too hard on defending in their training sessions, as no one is really getting close at the moment. The chicane again, going the 3 drivers, and that's Darek in the wall, and he's hit Hesh. Completely unintentional there, but as soon as one driver hits the wall, it's almost inevitable he's going to make contact, and Hesh luckily is able to pirouette straight back round and keep resuming his charge, but he's lost a lot of time despite picking up a position. He said how much this might help Iceman 7 as well. Just take a look at the battle for P5 and 4. As much goes to the inside, Iceman 7 has got right behind them. So again, much has been denied after a great bit of defensive driving from the man he's chasing, King Dio. But look at Iceman 7, he's all over these guys. He was 5 seconds ago, just a few moments back really, and out of nowhere, Iceman 7 is starting to reel him in, starting to be a bit more of a presence here. You can't really complain when you look at the calibre of drive we've got in this race. These are amongst the very best here. Some of them will be competing in the top Skillquant later on as well, bear in mind. You just never know how things are going to pan out, and I think Yeti's Moach had a crash. Yes, he has, and Iceman was lucky there to get through, but he's done it. So incredible driving there for Iceman, and unlucky driving for Yeti's Merchant. Hopefully he's able to recover from the tiny lapse of concentration that we saw there. But everyone's got to keep focused. This is the toughest thing to do on this circuit, is put in 38 consistent laps. It's so hard at the moment. The battle for the lead has taken a whole new level because Tyro almost had yet another run. And he almost got the inside. It's the first chance he's actually looked to the inside in a good 6 or 7 laps now, I reckon. So he's starting to think outside the box here, but it seems even that box has got a separate box covering it. He's got to be at the top of his game. If he's not, he's going to struggle. And Tyro trying to think of different ways to just gain a bit of time over the rest of the cars he's chasing. Look how close that Golf-inspired vehicle is. The community competition winners here all announced as Tyro goes to the inside. It's a great bit of driving. The leaders side by side, and he's finally got the lead. Tyro on lap 21 storms into the lead. And are we going to see an instant response from Raceway, who's going to flick that switch from defensive to offensive, sweeping round the outside? It will be impressive if he can make that one stick. But I don't think he's quite got enough courage to do so. He's still within touching distance of that chicane though. If he can force Tyro into a bit of an error, and he can't. Tyro skips across that curb like he's just skimmed a rock in a lake. That was no hesitation whatsoever. Great move by Tyro at the moment. That was beautiful. Absolutely beautiful stuff there. No doubt about it. That could not have gone any better for him. So Tyro now leads from Raceway in second, PA in third still, with Dio now fourth, Iceman still fifth with Much in sixth, Andy Bob seventh, and it's got a bit closer to these guys. And then you've got Heshake 38 just behind there in 8th position. 9th place is Direct, 10th place Alberg at the moment, then just outside the top 10. Alex Yushin, who's starting to recover just a tad, but we're going to feel like he needs a lot more work than that. He'll be disappointed, I think, today. It's been a very tough afternoon for him so far. Clark 10 12th, Sierra 13th. Their only retirement came on the first lap of the afternoon. And that man is Enricos, and a man who we were really hoping to be some sort of threat at the front of the field as well. And it just hasn't in the end. But either way, the race must go on, and we're soon running out of time, aren't we? We're 18 minutes in, about halfway through the race, just over. Andy Bob's still thinking he can maybe put a move on Much, but it's going to take a lot of work and a lot of dedication. It's just a case now of whether he's going to have the courage to do it, because he's caught Much before. And now he's going to do it all over again. So it's STEV Yastik who pulled away, and now STEV Andy Bob is starting to pressure him, so he just cannot get away from the STEV attention today. And Yeti's Much may just have Yeti's more battles on circuit. So don't forget, if you haven't bought this car yet, it's $2.50 or 2,500 credits at the moment on Simraceway, so you won't want to miss that one out. It is an absolute pleasure to drive, a lot of fun. You're really flinging around most of the circuits, which is so exciting to do. It takes a whole new meaning to the term racing. It requires a different skill set entirely compared to that of, let's say, the Bentley Speed 8 or maybe even one of the World Touring Car Championship vehicles. It's a really intense car to drive, a thrill ride, if you like. And now everybody's starting to just not so much settle down, but definitely take a more conservative approach right now, because they realise just how much it's at stake. This is not just for bragging rights, of course. It's the $1,000 total prize pool championship, where obviously it's nowhere near just bragging rights. There's money to be won, and it's also only a 3-rounder with no drop rounds, so you have to perform. If you've missed out week 1 or performed terribly and you need a result here today, and you're currently running maybe 8th or 9th position, you've got to step it up. Everyone's in a different boat right now. They're driving for different reasons, and you've got to realise that these drivers will be giving it, for the most part, well over 100% just to try and make up for lost ground, or create ground that wasn't even there in the first place, so to speak. But it is absolutely great to see so many of you watching on the YouTube channel at the moment. We've got such a great fan base here at Simraceway, and all the drivers and community that do compete. If you're watching this and don't actually have a Simraceway account yet, the game free to download, of course. You have some base cars, and every single track in the game is free, so you won't want to miss it. If you don't have this in your game library, you are missing out on the most incredible racing game there is at the moment, purely just down to the community. It is absolutely remarkable the moments we see in these championships week in and week out, and Tyro is about 10 or so minutes away from a potential victory. Still a bit of a long shot at the moment, but he's about to start lap 28 and 38, and that man could cross the line as a victor after what was a very, very impressive move. And the real question is, will it be enough to convert it into a win or no? Tyro into the chicane with Simraceway just following him. Mr. P is still 21 seconds away, so a real shame now for Mr. P. He's tried so hard. It just hasn't quite worked out for him just yet, is it? But still, the SDEV team have all done so well here today. Keep an eye on lap time just to let you know who's doing what. We've got Tyro at a 46.808 and a 637 from Simraceway, so it was quicker, but an 808 to 838, because Hesh 838 is going to battle here with another SDEV driver, and we've seen this before, bearing it in mind. This isn't the first time this has happened, an SDEV driver attacking the back of Hesh 838 is becoming almost a regular thing. So the real question is, what has Hesh got in response? Has he got what it takes here to hold on? Because it is a long time to hold on, and these SDEV boys don't really mess around, do they? If they've got a statement, they want to get it out of the way as soon as possible. They want to win. And it's not even a case of just wanting to win, they want to dominate here. And we can't really blame them, they've got such a presence on the field at the moment. Simraceway is currently in 2nd, Iceman's in 5th, and Andy Bob with a real chance here in the top 6. They make up well over a quarter of the field, and they just love results. And Simraceway may as well just have a bit of a run at Tyro. They encountered traffic, and we saw that last time. Now the effect wasn't quite as big last time, bear in mind. And now Simraceway's got on the inside of the final turn, and what a move it was! And it was an opportunistic dive at best, but he's got through, and Tyro's got to try and come back right now. He's in the slipstream, and the scrap in the final 10 minutes is alive and kicking. This will not be a race that goes down quietly with a 10-second margin. This will be kicking and screaming to the checkered flag. Tyro is having to work overtime, and it would have been caught completely off guard by Simraceway, and that is what these SDEV drivers do best. Well, strike out of nowhere and surprise you. It was a beautifully placed move, and Tyro wall riding a bit, Simraceway a bit deep into that corner. And Tyro has got to step it up a bit now. Lap 32, another one in the books. He's got to the inside. It's a late lunge. He's going to pray he can hold it. And then Night Raceway does not come back. A bit of wheel spin. And Tyro side by side for the race lead. Night Raceway fights directly back. Slams that door shut. Tyro is not going to get through here. If you're just joining us, do not go anywhere. It's going to be a thrill ride here. Tyro's lit the pit button up. Now it's approximated that you need 50 litres of fuel to complete this race. If he's underfueled it here, then this is going to really turn around to bite him in the bum, isn't it? Tyro trying to cut underneath. Night Raceway still leads, and this is the most competitive Tyro's looked in a long time. Night Raceway blocks it, moving across the track, and look at them go. The light remote control cars. Tyro heavy on the brakes again on the outside of that opening corner. But still, Night Raceway holds on. And Tyro has got to think so hard about how to do this, how to approach this scenario. This is not just an overtake anymore. It's not just the move for a race lead even. This is the difference between a race win and nothing. This is where heroes are made. It's the clutch. The last few laps here where drivers are at either their peak or their most vulnerable. Tyro's trying to get to the outside and sneak himself underneath. Night Raceway simply having to defend. He's got to keep that car nice and tight. He can't go offline. He can't make contact with tyres. He can't go over curbs. He can't hit a wall. Any of those things are going to result in a Tyro victory. So this is what the edge of your seat was made for. We've got 4.5 remaining here at Edmonton Raceway. The battle for the lead is underway. It's Liam Jenkins calling all the action for you here with Dimitri on the cameras. And I'm sure we're going to see some spectacular views going into this, because some of them just aren't going to do this justice. This is absolutely intense right now. This is what motorsport is all about, and after 26 minutes of racing, it's all going to come down to a fraction, a hairline, a split second. Tyro into the first corner. Night Raceway's going wide. And again, Tyro can't make it stick. He's doing everything in his power right now. Shuffling through, and it's just a case of keeping your head nice and strong, isn't it? Night Raceway there, a bit of a break mid-corner now, you can say that's for composure, and now he's scraping that inside barrier. It's so tense to watch, because you've just got a feeling that one of them eventually is going to clip it, and this whole race is going to turn upside down in an instant. 3 laps remaining. The gap stands at about 2.2 seconds. They go under the lights for the 35th time today. Into turn 1 again, and Night Raceway's gone very wide, and that may just punish him. Tyro's going to get very up close and personal very quickly again, and all of that gap that he'd suddenly found has been ripped from under his feet. Trying to watch Tyro's on board, and look at how that wheel's moving, and the scout of the rest of the field. There is still a bit of a fight with Darek and Andy Bobson, Darek and Jujin. So that's for 8th place and 9th at the moment. We'll keep you updated on that. That was why I was a short breath, just looking through and making sure there were no other massive battles we're going to miss out on, but we can turn our spotlights back to the battle for the lead, because again in turn 1, on the penultimate lap of the race, Tyro's come short, and he's not able to get the hype needed to pull through. Night Raceway's looking composed. Tyro almost in the wall there, and that could have ended in tears and desperation. And it's going to start setting in right now, because they're going to start the final lap. This is where this track comes into its own. The laps are so short. That penultimate corner's going through right now, and Tyro is going to have a million different thoughts running through his mind, potential outcomes as he crosses that line. He's going to find out what it's going to be in about 45 seconds time. Is he going to get this move complete? It's a late lunge around the outside, then he's side by side again. He's got to cut underneath, and he hits the back of him, and here we go, the 2 drivers side by side one more time, and Night Raceway's able to just about keep it in front. Maybe Tyro let up because he didn't want to win it on unfair circumstances. But with just a few corners remaining and Tyro on the grass, he may have just held up a little bit. Night Raceway almost skimming that barrier again. Tyro following suit, but Tyro did lift, so it was fair play. I thought he'd done that. He let off after the corner because he didn't want to win it on unfair circumstances, but it's going to be Night Raceway that comes through after a race-long battle, and he's going to cross the line. He wins! Night Raceway takes victory for the second round of the gorgeous new 6XJ4 Championship. The Go Bananas team have gone bananas. The community-inspired livery has taken its first win of the weekend. Tyro takes second place in the golf-inspired community livery, and it could have so easily been a win. What an effort that really was. Mr. Pierre is the last man on the podium after one of the more quiet drives of his career, but I'll tell you what, he won't shy away from a wallop of points there. Going into this final round, Pierre still very much a title contender. Fourth place is King Dio. Fifth place for Iceman 7, I beg your pardon. Hesh was in 6th place. 7th, Andy Bob. 8th place for Alex Yushin. Good recovery. 9th for Darek. 10th for Yeti's Merchant. Terrible result considering he was fighting for the top 5 early on. Clark 10, 11th. And it'll be Sierra in 12th. Allberg 13th. And our last retirement was Enricos in 14th. So we've seen the rest, and now it's time to see the best. What a finish it was here at Edmonton for the penultimate race of the evening. And now the best of the best make their way down to the Edmonton Raceway. The 900 to 1100 A Skillquant are coming. Don't go anywhere. Okay, so we've seen 4 fantastic races, or we will have seen them by the end of tonight. This is the final one, the second round of the 6XJ4 Championship, about to come to a close from Edmonton. We've got one more round after this, of course, next weekend. There's something pretty special about today, though. Now, there's a lot of big names missing, and bearing in mind the midfield in this championship has been absolutely relentless in the first round. And you look at the qualifying and how dominant it was almost from Shadow Bounty at a 46.0, 2 tenths faster than B13A6. But that's all set to change because Shadow Bounty won't be here next week, so he's decided to opt out of the championship, which leaves a massive hole with a question mark over it as to who is going to try and take that #1 spot from him. There's a couple of the big dogs that won't be in today's action. Randomness Inside, who was aiming to start P5, will not be competing today. He said that he doesn't like the track, he doesn't feel comfortable running it for this amount of time without feeling maybe in jeopardy of safety. So what he's actually decided to do is miss this round then, which could be a blessing or a curse because it could allow or pave the way for someone to come striding through and take all the glory honours. The other person we're missing is Van Panther and Stuntman Mike, so 2 more big names we're missing, which will surely open the path for the likes of Mr. Jolly, B13A6. We've got a couple of new drivers here today as well in terms of teams. We've got ATS and Ganj, so Ganj joining the ATS squad as of very recently. Luke Sky back inside. There's Skillquant as well. Graf Findle could well be a man to keep an eye on. Also, we've got Andre Passer, who's always a solid midfield competitor. AGO6 there as well. And with this circuit, of course, not about where you start, it's about where you finish. Now, how are these drivers going to fare around a whopping amount of laps? You're looking at about 45 minutes of racing on one of the most demanding circuits on the game. We're going to find out very shortly. So we're about to get underway then. You can see the grid at the moment. It is B13 that starts on pole position, but will he stay there? That's the real question as we wait for the arrival of those red lights. Here we go. What is Doodle 112 going to try and take it away from him? Let's find out. The lights go away. Big lunge there already from the bright yellow 6XJ4 of Andre Carter, trying to desperately pass Doodle as they're going towards turn 1. Hopefully it's a lot tidier than what we've seen previously. Bit of argy-bargy, but for the most part, relatively clean until then at least. And it's all sort of gone a little bit upside down now. There is a restart inbound. So it will just be a couple of moments while the drivers regroup themselves. 61 laps stand in front of these drivers here at Edmonton Raceway, and this is a circuit that can take the very best of drivers and turn their races upside down in just a matter of seconds. In the space of a heartbeat, you can go from first to last. It is just one of those circuits. Who's going to take the most of the opportunity gifted to them on a silver platter here today? That's the question. Some of the biggest dogs in the game are out. Shadow Bounty Championship leader not present. Who's going to be the man to step up to the mark? Will it be B13 who starts on the inside as they go towards turn number 1? We'll find out soon. The field leaving again. Another rocket start by that bright yellow 6XJ4 of Andre Passer as they fly down in towards that first corner. Hopefully it's a lot tidier this time, but still a bit of nudging it is to be expected. And for the most part, they've all got through okay. 1-2 casualties really. One at the very back of the field there, and Mr. PA the other. Fast recuperated down into the chicane, and this is where we thought it might get a bit messy, and indeed it has, but it could have gone a bit worse. Everyone's away solely pretty clean. Made their way towards the end of the first lap already. It's going to be challenging, but not for B13, who's already eked out a 2.5 second gap over Doodle 12. He's really flying now. And Mr. Jolly looking to challenge it for him there, obviously. The last thing you want to be doing is knowing you're quicker than the car in front whilst the race leader scurries away and creates an advantage. It can be so tough in that sort of situation, but at the end of lap number 1, B13 leads from the SDEV crew. Go Bananas livery, of course created by our community. We've got the Mr. Jolly car in 3rd, Andre Passer in P4, then an almighty scrap for P5 with Luke Sky 80 right slap bang in the midfield, running away from what looks like an absolute squad of hyenas at the moment. You've got Popo, Grafindle, Elite Speedway, Tyro, who was in the last race, of course, with Night Raceway. So those two set to do battle yet again in the same colour cars as well. They're right by each other, separated by Engange at the moment. But the two drivers, I'll tell you what, could really be set for a night-long scrap here. It went right down to the wire after 38 laps last time. They've got to drive 61 this time. Surely these two are going to be sick of the sight of each other's car by the end of tonight. It will be constant. Into the hairpin again, and it's still B13 that's leading the charge, and Luke Sky's already lost 6th place, and he may lose another couple. He's got Grafindle directly lined up behind him, bringing of course Popo, Elite Speedway, and then the rest of the crew as well. It's absolutely fantastic to watch, but Luke Sky actually gave 5th position back to the flow after the previous incident, so the flow back up to P5, Luke Sky slowed down, so it's sportsman-like personality there for Luke Sky. Exactly the sort of racer he is, very respectful. He doesn't often step outside the rules or try to bend them. As soon as he knows he's done something wrong, he'll be the first man to own up to it and try and correct it. That is what makes him such a talent here. And again, I tell you what, Mr. Jolly is looking a little bit too jolly at the moment because Andre Passer is not doing too well at defending. And Mr. Jolly may just well become Mr. Ecstatic if he can get that car through. But it's easier said than done. It took Tyro a solid 28 attempts or so, I reckon, to pass last time. And those two drivers were back and forth the entire duration of the race. We're coming to the end of another lap, and the field showing no real signs of settling down anytime soon. We've got Elite Speedway there trying to attack Popo. Trying to bring his car to the inside bit. There'll be a bit of a drag race down in towards that first corner, won't it? And now can Elite Speedway move to the inside? He's got the move done surely, but he's always at neutral, and that may cost him. He's somehow saved the car. I don't know how he's rescued that. Elite Speedway there with a bit of wizardry. Fair play to him. The SDEV car now up into 8th position. And let's just see what the SDEV boys can do overall then. They're quite the presence now. You may have noticed their name pop up quite a few times tonight. And one of them currently inside the top 3 podium positions. He's trying to hunt down or at least stop B13 from pulling away, but an update on Andre Passer, who's just hit the tyres relatively hard, which has put a real dent in his progress this race. Hopefully he can recover in the coming moments. But it's going to be Doodle 12 who recently joined the SDEV team, and he could well be looking for their first win this championship. Of course, it's been Shadow Bounty that has taken this championship by storm in last week's event. But now with a gap wide open, it may just open the door for B13. Can Doodle 12 take the fight to him though? Or is B13 going to prove that he really is the best of the rest? And then try and get that momentum to fight Shadow Bounty in the next championship. Obviously he won't be here for the final round either, so it really is B13's for the taking at the moment. Only time will tell if he's able to pull it off or no. Mr. Jolly still third, and right now the Flow and Grafindle side by side, and it's going to be Grafindle that might be losing out. As the Flow, oh, he does tap Jolly and somehow stays sideways, and it's both Luke Sky and Grafindle are able to fly through there. So the Flow, despite already losing touch 1 minute, is able to somehow recover these two positions. So it's going to be a real tough battle now as Elite Speedway tries to make his way through as well. These drivers are really giving it 110%. It's still well early on at the moment. Elite Speedway on the inside of the Flow there, and he's having to defend extremely hard. We've got another fight just up ahead of Jolly trying to somehow defend that podium position away from Grafindle at the moment. The Golf inspired 6XJ4 trying to get round the inside of the hairpin. It's the most provocative overtaking spot, isn't it though? And Jolly couldn't quite do it. But I tell you what, these drivers now have really got to settle into a rhythm. It's a long race. They're barely an eighth of the way through at the moment. That is just how long it's taken, because a lap's only, well, under a minute, so 61 laps. It's constant for the drivers. The shortest straight on this circuit may as well be the longest. There's barely any time for these drivers to recuperate, to look at their surroundings maybe, look at where they are, look at the gears, the fuel, engine temperatures, tyre temperatures, nothing like that. There's simply no time. It is constant demand after demand. When you're chasing a car down as well, it just adds even more tension, even more room for error. As Grafindle has had his front be filled there with Mr. Jolly's rear end, and I'm sure he'll want to be shaking that off as soon as he possibly can. They go through the chicane again. Now down into the last few corners, Jolly taking a bit of a wider line. I'm actually surprised that no one's hit those outside red barriers yet. I thought someone would have fallen victim to it by now, but apparently not. Everyone's been a lot more conservative in all the Skillquants actually. Not a single person has actually made contact with the barriers, which is brilliant to watch. It's now Grafindle trying to get to the inside of Jolly and make it once and for all. Jolly's defended well up until now, but it may not be enough, and Grafindle knocks the rears, goes sailing off of the circuit, rejoins, and now he's in a right old scrap, because just ahead of him are the Flow and Elite Speedway, and you do not want to be scrapping with 3 cars as you go into that chicane. That's just asking for trouble, and the Flow is the man who collected it, and he's been schooled there, and that's a real lesson learned the hard way. It's Popo CZ that's going to have to try and pick up the pieces even further, knock a man while he's down. The Flow is in a world of trouble, and Engange is aware of this. He's watching it on his screen and maybe just trying to adapt to it a bit sooner. If Popo goes for a move and it can't quite work, he'll be the next man to maybe pop a move through. Popo's through, and now here comes Engange round the outside. He'll get the inside for turn 1 if he doesn't get pushed against the wall. And that was some authoritative defending there from the Flow. Engange dive bombs up the inside but keeps it low, and the Flow again losing that rear end. The oversteer on this car is so unpredictable, and Engange goes up into 10th position. And here's a stat for you as well. If you're ever debating the integrity and the sheer pace the B1386 possesses, he's already 46 seconds clear of the battle you're witnessing on screen at the moment. 46 seconds, that's almost a lap in front already. The man is a machine. He's going to be close to lapping these guys anytime soon. In fact, I only think he has. If I'm not mistaken, yeah, he has. The B13, 12 laps into the race, has lapped them once already. That is scary stuff, I'm pretty sure. Really scary. Doodle 12's still trying to stay with him though. He's 7 seconds behind, but it's not going to be enough. He's got to try and work out something a bit more than that, hasn't he? And the Slippery When Bananas livery has been a sheer favourite, I think, by all of the community. And we just got an update there that the battle between Grafindle and the Flow which ended up in contact for the flow back at the chicane, if you remember, a couple of moments ago. That's going to be reviewed after the race. So the incident where the flow was forced into the barrier will be reviewed after the race. So still potentially an oncoming penalty for Graufinkel there. Well, one of the other drivers at least, there was an almighty crew of them. And as we enter lap 13 of 61, I think it's just time to update you on how the standings look at the moment then. So B1386 is running away with this at the moment. Doodle 12 still second, third place is Jolly, fourth place is Luke Sky, fifth place Elite Speedway, sixth Graufinkel PL, seventh place is Tyro, eighth place for Nye Raceway, ninth place just behind there is Popo, then it's the Flow in turn, Dagio 6, 11th, Injans 12th, Andre 13th, and Mr. PA in P14. But after what has been a very enthralling start, we've got to now focus on the mid-stint, because this is where drivers can be most vulnerable. We're only 10 minutes into the race, we've still got so long left to go at the moment. B1386 is treating it like it's a sprint. It's almost like he's just going after lap records, not even a care in the world right now. We'll compare his lap time to Doodle 12 in just a moment. And it's a 46.8 for B13. 47 flat for Doodle, so B13 still a bit faster at the moment, which is relatively poor news. It's only a couple of tenths as well. It's not like he's flying away, but compared to the rest of the field, it's almost like he's taken a lot of Red Bull before the race, because he really is flying at the moment. Another man who's actually surprised me with his early sprint speed is Luke Sky 80. Currently sitting in fourth position. He's got Mr. Jolly 2 seconds ahead of him, but Luke Sky may be en route for a podium here. It's only early days and there's still plenty of action left to come, but that young man has really improved in recent weeks, and especially this championship as well. He's taken it extremely seriously, Luke Sky, and the man who used to be averaging about 8th position race in, race out, started to improve during the midweek championships, get a few podiums, and now could be en route for one in the $1,000 6XJ4 Championship. And if you haven't entered it yet, as we say, simraceway.com, the place to go. The car costs just $2.50, or if you want to win in-game credits, $2,500. So you can really get a bargain here. The car is buckets of fun to drive, and Nye Raceway out of the race then, a retirement for the SDEV driver. And Nye Raceway will be witnessing the rest of this race from the paddock. I'm sure that's not a view he intended to be spending here at Edmonton. He would have been wanting to be right at the front, fighting for a podium position. I'm sure we'll be back for the next round there. SDEV always seems to have a habit of bouncing back from adversity. Over the line again, and I tell you what, B13 is just stepping it up a notch through the chicane. I think what we'll do next lap is we'll take a lap on board here with B1386. We've already been treated with a hot lap from one of our community members of Molnar, I believe, this week already. So if you haven't seen that, Simraceway YouTube channel, the place to be, as we'll probably take a ride on board with B1386 just to see how well he really is attacking this Edmonton circuit. So down the main straight he's coming then through the gears, and look how neatly he's upshifting at the moment, already at 130 mile an hour. Over the line he goes then to start the lap. Keep as close to the inside barrier as you can before heavy braking at that 400 metre mark, down to about 25 miles an hour. Don't let the oversteer get the better of you, and do not, whatever you do, put a wheel over that white line into the blind chicane. It's so hard to spot your braking point as it's shrouded by the tyres. You don't want to clip the outside of that wall. You can see the paint marks, but other drivers have not been so composed. And B1386 making this look effortless right now. Look how close he'll scrape that barrier. He may as well have just left his headlight there, but you wouldn't even notice. He's not even fazed by it as he goes down now into the last turn, narrowly clipping the apex. Just a gentle touch of the barrier for stability, and over at the start-finish line. A very quick fire lap here of Edmonton with our race leader. 3-1-3 into the chicane now. Approximately 14 seconds ahead of Doodle Time, who's by no means lapping slowly. 11 seconds back, but he's only a couple of tenths slower per lap. It's not like he's dropping down the order and making a lot of errors. He's driving very solidly. And one man who's going to have to start driving solidly very quickly, or even more solidly, so to speak, is Luke Sky, because 1 minute he's fighting with Mr. Jolly, the next minute he's got Elite Speedway and a whole crew of cars waiting to pounce on him and take that 4th position away. Question is, who's going to be the first man to jump? Will it be Elite Speedway, or is someone else going to jump on the bandwagon? Let's find out. Elite Speedway's in the draft. He's had a great run so far. Can he get to the inside? The answer is yes. He's going to make the dive up the inside. He's gone a bit too deep there, and Luke Sky says thank you very much, and so too does Grau Findle. So Grau Findle sneaks up to 5th place, and that's what I was talking about. Who's going to jump first? Grau Findle waited for the opportunity to arise, saw the car going wide, and immediately pounced on it. And just like a cat catching a fish, has taken that position and made it his own. Luke Sky is really under heaps and heaps of pressure right now, and they just get even more mounted when you realise that our CEO is watching today. So a massive hello and greetings from everyone at Simraceway team, Jonathan Haswell, from me, Liam Jenkins, and our cameraman Dimitri, and of course Mr. Simraceway events administrator Kosako as well, who really is the backbone of these events. Without him, we really wouldn't see these great races that we see week in and week out. These drivers wouldn't have such a platform to prove their worth, and it's where Luke Sky is having to rewrite the defensive textbook. We've got Grau Findle, Elite Speedway, and Tyro all still waiting to attack, and Tyro now as well, bearing in mind, took 2nd in the B race and is now getting a chance to potentially take a top 5 position here today. We're nowhere near halfway through yet, but Tyro is looking extremely composed right now as he goes in towards those last couple of corners once again. He really is looking to take the fight to the big boys here today, and you couldn't really have it any other way, could you? That's a perfect platform to prove yourself. As soon as the old guard let themselves out of the way, Shadow Bounty not present here today, of course. There's a loud chance for maybe a rookie or an up-and-coming talent to stake their claim and show the world what they're made of. It's what Tyro's doing, it's what Grau Findle's trying to do against Luke Sky in a battle for 4th position at the moment. And Luke Sky giving it everything he's got to keep him at bay, but you can see already the effect it's had on him. 1 minute Luke Sky's fighting with Mr. Jolly, the next minute he's being run rampant by Grau Findle. Down in towards that penultimate turn again, he's gone very wide, and Grau Findle's going to say thank you very much for the inside line. And I think I might challenge you down into turn 1. The drag race begins, and the Golf Racing community made livery, of course. We've got to give a lot of praise to all of the community members that made liveries for the 6XJ4. They've all been absolutely outstanding, as was this move by Grau Findle. But it wasn't quite enough, and Elite Speedway's tucked up right inside now. And there's your warning sign to Grau Findle. Try a move like that again and it won't pay off. And you may just bear even worse consequences than staying in 5th position. You may lose a position to Elite Speedway, which would, if you pardon the pun, make the whole SDEV team go bananas. These 3 cars line astern at the moment. It's really starting to take shape now. Fly to the 6XJ4s, and you could not ask for a better run into the halfway mark here. Another lap completed, and look at Grau Findle. He's looking extremely good. Can he get to the inside? Very late braking for Luke Sky. May come back to haunt him. The corner opens up, but so does the space for Grau Findle. A drag race to the chicane that Luke Sky might just win. It's going to be close, and in terms of winning the battle to the chicane, he didn't. What Luke Sky did win there was the battle of nerves. That was some shaky stuff, and Luke Sky really had to hold his tone through there, but he's come out too wide. And Grau Findle finally capitalises on the mistake and moves that Golf Racing 6XJ4 into the top 4. So now he's got to push on to Mr. Jolly, because Tyro and Elite Speedway have gone through. Luke Sky has had a bit of a problem there, isn't he? Down to 7th position. Not good news at all. So Luke Sky's starting to struggle just a tad at the moment then, and it's so easily done at this circuit. As soon as you take a knock, it could be a knockout before you know it. You lose focus for 1 second and you reassume focus and you're in a completely different world. And Popo CZ maybe coming to add insult to injury here and go for the complete blow because he's 8th place and about 2 seconds away from Luke Sky as we talk about them at the moment. The B136 now 21 seconds clear of Doodle 12. The man is on a complete mission, absolutely flying right now. Down in towards his chicane again. I've never seen dominance like this at this circuit before. Don't get me wrong, we've seen all kinds of mystery and runaway victories in the past, but at this circuit it's always so tightly contested because of the nature of the track. It's very tight, it's very unundulating, there's no elevation change whatsoever, which means drivers are completely free to do what they choose essentially. There's no real other challenges to think about. It's a flat circuit, it's a platform for them to perform, to show the world what they can do, and because it's flat, it just allows for that extra bit of creativity, that extra box to try and think outside of, because you can just do a lot more with it. There's nothing that's going to catch you up now, sudden lumps in the circuit. If you compare this to a Laguna Seca, for instance, where you've got the infamous corkscrew, the rises and falls of the circuit, it's like a constant roller coaster. It adds that extra challenge for the drivers to think about overtaking. It makes it a lot more difficult. Whereas on this circuit, it's difficult for an entirely different reason. And this is why these sort of circuits, the ones like this, like Monte Carlo, like any street circuit, are so both loved and detested by drivers worldwide. Because you've got that challenge of you can't see technically what's in front of you. The barriers are so narrow, they'll catch you out. It is just punishment in a track. It's almost like torture half the time. You've got to go for about 45 minutes around this circuit non-stop. There's not a lot of room to breathe. It is constant worrying about what's around you. One time the error can punish you dearly. Meanwhile, Luke Sky 80 has retired, so a bad race goes from bad to worse to just about as bad as it can possibly be. Luke Sky watches this one from the garage and he'll be feeling quite upset about that, I can tell you now. But one man who won't be feeling upset whatsoever is Tyro. As we said before, he's been brilliant today, absolutely brilliant. When you take a look at what he's achieved, he took 2nd place in the B race. He's now fighting for the A race here, and he's got himself inside the top 5. So this is the way Skillquant's work. If you're new to Simraceway or this is your first time watching the broadcast, now Skillquant's depending basically on skill level. So it's a great intervention by Simraceway to make sure that you'll never be in a raceway or being dominated or doing the dominating. You're always going to have a fair challenge. So Tyro raced in the previous Skillquant, so now he's racing with essentially the best of the best in Simraceway. The fastest drivers, the most composed, the ones who finish the most races, and he's got himself inside the top 5. Now if it was me, and I'd just done a solid 30 minutes of wheel-to-wheel racing, battling for a race win around one of the most enduring circuits on the game, I'd be sat down on the sofa drinking a can of, water or something, because it would just drain you physically and mentally. You'll have nothing left. You're so focused for those 30 minutes. As every gear change is spot on, every braking point, every turn in, every opposite lock, every bit of oversteer. So much goes through your mind in those 30 minutes. And then you've got to do it all again for about 61 laps with 14 of the fastest drivers in the game. And he's somehow come into this inside the top 5. If this isn't a contender for driver of the day, I don't know who it will be. This is a true sign of a racer right here. This is passion for racing, a dream that he wants to be at the top of Simraceway. And I'll tell you what, it won't be long before he gets there, because he is a real credit to what Simraceway is about. Now there could be an argument saying that maybe the B race was the warm-up. Maybe he was just spending that one getting into his zone, because after all of those disadvantages of racing 2 in a row, you've got to think of the advantage. You've driven the same track for about half an hour plus warm-up plus practice. You know the braking noise by now. You've had a week of practice and a full race. You know what the track has to offer. You know the consistent line to hit over and over and over again, and because of that, these drivers are still fresh into it. This is their first attempt tonight at this circuit, which means they still may be a bit rusty. They're still discovering, still trying to find their craft around this circuit to get the optimal racing line. Tyro's got that. Tyrone knows what's fast, he knows how to overtake, he knows how to defend, and this is what is making him so dangerous. The experience of the B-race, knowing that he's been here for quite lengthy amounts of time already in very competitive circumstances, this man could be a shoe-in for a podium. And I'm not just saying that because of the reasons before, but Graffindel's 2 seconds ahead. Jolly's gone very wide at turn 1 the past 2 times, and he's 9 seconds ahead. And you can see him sometimes in the very forefront of the picture, kicking up a bit of smoke. He's done it again there, look, through the corner. No other cars doing that. A little bit there, albeit from Grafindel. But Mr. Jolly is not safe in 3rd. Graffindel's not safe in 4th. You talk about an underdog, they don't come much bigger than Tyro. This is going to be a definite man to keep your eye on. And talking of keeping your eye on, we've got a battle back at turn 1 for the flow, and Andre past there, and Andre round the outside, the chicane. We're approaching half race distance now, and he's going to have to sweep it through. It's a bit brave, he's going to go ploughing into the tyres. Somehow does it, and a very aggressive and abrasive defensive manoeuvre there for the flow. Holds it for just one more corner, as Andre somehow has a much better line. The flow went into the chicane way too deep, and as a result just ploughed himself into the tyres. Well, you've got to take a moment now to just appreciate what has gone on this race. It has been nothing short of thrilling, and it's not a bad race for our CEO to come in and say hello, is it? What an evening of entertainment we've had here at Sim Raceway, and it's only set to get better as the year goes on. The best part is we've only had a couple of championships, both January and February. Both have been, in my opinion, 2 of the best that Sim Raceway has ever had. We are setting the bar and then crushing it and re-raising it every single week right now, and it is a true honour to be a part of. And one man who's completely maybe setting his own bar and crushing it is our race leader, B1386. 18 seconds clear at the moment of Doodle 12. He's just showing no signs of remorse, no sign of letting up or slowing down and becoming a bit conservative. He just wants to dominate this race. It's probably the only word in his vocabulary. He's an absolute monster around Edmonton Raceway. And the airport circuit may just have a new jet fighter because B1386 is taking off around this circuit. A 46.732 for your race leader. If you don't think that's quick, he's 2/10 faster that time than Doodle 12. He's absolutely flying here at Edmonton. Jolly's P3, Graffindel's 4th. It's Elite Speedway that's holding 5th at the moment from Tyro in 6th. 7th is Popo CZ. So still plenty to, I think, go on in this race. It's far, far from over. We've got so much action left in store for everyone here at the moment. So a big hello to everyone watching on the YouTube channel, leaving comments. So Jorge Kuna, Alex Yujin, Josh Dowie, who's it's his first time watching the Sim Raceway broadcast actually, so it's nice to see him making his name felt in the community. Molnar as well was in action earlier on, so coming out of the race and spectating the other drivers. That is exactly what we like to see here in Sim Raceway. Everyone sticks around and supports each other on these Sunday evening championships. Absolutely brilliant, like sportsmanship. A battle starting to form there. I would say battle. There was Morrigan flashing his lights and letting Doodle 12 through, which is something that Doodle really needs right now. If he is to catch the race leader, he needs all the help he can get. And if that includes B13 being held up by traffic, then so be it, because this is going to be a real mountain to climb for him. It may even just be Everest, because Doodle has got to be solid for the next 20 minutes or so, and that's so easier said than done as the cars dive down into the first corner. And the flow going extremely wide there, and bearing in mind the flow was caught up in the barriers earlier on today after a bit of an incident, and that will be reviewed in post-race conditions. But he's inside the top 10, so it's not all doomed, but he would have obviously liked to have been a lot higher, and potentially should be as well. He's got the pace to do so. He's one of the most consistent drivers on here normally. He's here week in and week out, giving us his absolute best, and has really become a great member of the community. Moves out of the way there for B1386. Very respectful driving indeed, and it's so difficult. We haven't quite touched on that just yet though, how difficult it really is to overtake lap traffic here on Sim Raceway. And you don't really think it's an issue until you're as quick as B1386, when you're overtaking traffic more times than you can say 6XJ4, because the track's so narrow, it's barely you know, wide enough to fit one car through, let alone two side by side. So if you approach traffic who are in a fight with each other, maybe 2-3 cars scrapping over a position, it makes it incredibly tough to actually opt out, play fair, and let the race leader through. It becomes incredibly daunting for a race leader because you've suddenly got to flip that switch between aggression and conservation. And by doing that, obviously, you're allowing the car behind you to just rake in those seconds. The B13 about to start, lap number 39 here of 61 with Doodle 12. Still quite a way back. It was a 46.7 again by B13. It's just constant now. I know he's actually been matched there by Doodle 12. Now that is the first time I've actually seen that today. Doodle 12 having matched and narrowly beaten B1386 by about 800 to the second. So Doodle 12 is taking the fight now. Is this because of traffic or perhaps you know, unforeseen circumstances or other factors? We'll have to find out. But for that one lap, Doodle 12 actually had an upper hand on the leader, so this race may not be as one-sided as we're making out to be. There could still be a thrilling finish here awaiting us at Edmonton. We've said it time and time before. It's never over until that checkered flag falls, and that could still be an issue here today as well. So be sure to keep an eye on our two race leaders. And as the field starts to settle down just a moment, well, I think it's fair to say we can talk you through the championship standings. They've been provisionally updated here for the 500 to 900B race, and it's going to be, we're going to go through 500 to 900 first in terms of how they sit after tonight's standings. So it's TGR Walker leads after a win back at the first round at Croydon. He got third place here today as well. Mapachito is tied with him after getting the same results but mirrored, so third at Croydon and first at Edmonton after a surprise win today. The Spaniard was absolutely on form. Mapachito doing a brilliant job there indeed. Kobayashi third, a second place in race number 1 and 50 points here today. He's looking solid. The Finnish man Yardstick is on 116 points, tied with Kobayashi, again mirrored. Then we've got the second Brit, TGRD Moore, in 5th place. Rob Nitro 6th, Shut 7th. WTTN 8th place. 9th is Aegis and 10th Master Rocco. And in terms of how the field looked going into this race, bearing in mind that the first two drivers in this championship are not present today. So Randomness inside sits second. He's absent for this round after not feeling comfortable with this circuit. Maybe didn't think he could get to the end of the race. So Randomness inside away. But the championship leader, Shadow Bounty, away for the rest of the championship. So he's pretty much hung up the boot and allowed a massive pathway for a new driver to prove their worth. And that man could be the Hungarian. He came third place at Croydon. B1386 is currently leading this race. It's Mr. Johnny in fourth, the Scotsman, who's actually not doing too bad here today either. Jono P5, Doodle 1276, followed by his two teammates, Nye Raceway and Elite Speedway. Mr. PA in P9 with A Costa in P10 with Jusian 11th, AGO6 12th, Luke Sky in 13th place. Tyro only got 16 points in week 1 at Croydon. Now bearing in mind he's already taken a second place here today, the German could well be a factor for a good midfield finish come the end of Cadwell Park, and that is the most intriguing fact about this championship. We're not just doing two tight circuits, we're going to Cadwell Park. The last time we were at Cadwell Park, I'm pretty sure I lost my voice for about 3 days. It was absolutely brilliant. Breathtaking racing from start to finish. It's one of my favourite circuits in the UK, but still one I've actually yet to commentate at. So fingers crossed I can add that to the list this year. But it's a brilliant circuit, and ideally, of course, designed for motorbikes, and they really do fly there. If you ever seen or get a chance to watch coverage of the BSB or even club level bike racing, be sure to do it, because motorbikes around Cadwell Park, dig it out on YouTube. It is edge of your seat stuff, absolutely breathtaking. BTCC, of course, another great series that runs there. It's a fantastic circuit, Cadwell Park, and one that I'm sure is going to attract a lot of attention from the guys in Simraceway. And of course, available for absolutely free in Simraceway, along with all of our circuits. And we'll take a quick look back into what's going on the circuit as well, because the circuit that matters at the moment is Edmonton, as AGO6 battles with Popo CZ over P7. So lap 43 and a battle for 7th position starting to take shape. Let's see what AGO6 can do then. Down that into the penultimate corner again. Popo heavy on the brakes, AGO to the inside, and he's going to struggle to make a move. He's going to try it anyway. He's pulled alongside. It's a bit risky, and the drag race into the first corner begins now. The two identical cars make contact, and AGO 6 plows into the wall, somehow rebounds straight back off it, and carries on again, so we'll be relieved is the word after that one. But these two now neck and neck currently, and then you've got Andre Parser just behind as well. You could well be waiting in the wings just to capitalise on any unforeseen circumstances between these two drivers. But the two identical covered cars who are wearing identical liveries, all created by our community members, of course. Don't forget that was a community competition where the winners get to be featured in this championship, and you can see them now. They look absolutely stunning, and one which you may not want to be looking at if you're Popo CZ is the one coming in your wing mirrors, because at the moment race leader B1386 is starting to approach them a bit. He's closing them down, and this won't be competitive, of course. This will be to lap them. This is exactly what I was referring to a few moments ago, bear in mind. This is what can really impact the race leader's race, because he's going to get past two cars who are midfield battling around one of the narrowest circuits in the game with the most unpredictable car in the game. It's a real chore to do. But Randomness inside will be back next race, so to try and defend his second place that he got in week number 1. He could still easily end up with a midfield finish, maybe even a top half if he's consistent enough. 2 second places, it's a lot of points up for grabs, isn't it? But AGO 6 makes his way down through the start for his straight again, a bit further away from Popo, so it may play into the hands here of B1386 at the moment, as he can maybe catch them and overtake them when there's not really a lot of tension between the two drivers. There's no real fight or anything like that, which is ideally what you want, isn't it? Just to pass the cars when they're not going to be neck and neck with each other. There's some extra breathing space on the circuit. Tyro down to P6 though, so Elite Speedway has passed him. An update there on the man who we were so excited about earlier on, and he's only 8 seconds away though, so don't count him out of it just yet. As we always say, it's never over until that checkered flag falls. But Tyro has definitely been one of the newfound talents of Simraceway without a shadow of a doubt. Through the chicane they come for a 47th time. Tyro just trying to keep Elite Speedway in his sights here today. Elite Speedway who's been so solid for the most part this season. And now Popo in towards that cheeky little right-hander again, the kink before the hairpin. Just trying to maybe keep AGO 6 at bay, but that's easier said than done already somehow. The gap stands at about 5 seconds, so he's lost all of that advantage, all of that momentum that he had previously. 1 minute they're fighting, and the next minute they're seeming not to do so much. Popo's dropped back, and B1386 will be lapping them momentarily. Flow very wide there. I thought he was going to hit the outside of that barrier. He's still P10 after all. He hasn't really been able to properly come back from the disappointment that he suffered in the opening stint of the race. Which is a real shame. I was really hoping he would, but unfortunately I think everyone else has been a bit too quick today. And talking of quick as well, what interesting fact to point out is the gap between the drivers in qualifying between just B1386 and Doodle in qualifying now is just 300ths of a second difference, and in terms of where they are right now, there's 21 seconds. So if you want to talk about pace, that man is really flying. There'll be no more deserved winner on this circuit. He's just been relentless here today without a single doubt in mind. He's still going to try and assert himself to get past these lap cars, but he's just trying to breeze it home now for the next 6-7 minutes or so. But the top 28 back in qualifying we were talking about as well, in this entire Skillquant, separated by just 800ths of a second. Everyone was at their prime this week, and this is what makes this Skillquant system so special. And there is a great interview online actually talking about the Skillquant system and hoping how it's going to revolutionise the future of Simraceway. And indeed it is. If you've got the entire 56 separated by less than 2 seconds. 56 drivers who've all set a lap time, and they're separated by less than 2 seconds, then you're doing something right. And since the induction of Skillquant into Simraceway, it has been an entirely different era of racing. It's on no other level. No one comes close to what Simraceway is doing at the moment. It's absolutely breathtaking. As we said before, if you don't currently have an account, you're not a member of Simraceway, you're missing out on so much. Be sure to get over simraceway.com, the place to go. Completely free to download. Every single track is free to download. You can get some free base cars as well to use them on. And this car that we're showcasing at the moment, the Simraceway's own motor company, beautiful motor you can see in there. It's only got 4 headlights, but the 6XJ4, $2.50 or 2,500 credits. And you two got it too. Your garage, some great manufacturers we've got, including Bentley, BMW, Toyota to name another, Mitsubishi, of course the legendary Lancer, which has seen some amazing races back in the past. We've got Corvettes, Le Mans, everything from Le Mans racers to McLaren Formula 1 legends, including Ayrton Senna's MP44. You can own them exclusively here in Simraceway, but something that's exclusive to Mr. Jolly at the moment is a pit request. No other driver has lit up that pit button. Now, does Mr. Jolly have a fuel issue? Has he underfueled that car? If he has, we're going to be in for a very intriguing few laps for him, as he's going to have to fight incredibly hard to not lose any more positions. He doesn't pit in though, so it perhaps can't be that serious, but it's no doubt a little bit scary, isn't it? Mr. Jolly doing everything possible to just try and keep third. Grafindel 14 seconds away. It should be his to lose really. It's just a case of cruising at home now and sinking back into that conservation mode. But it has been a fantastic event up until this point, as B13 alleviates past AGO6. Popper now about 6 seconds away. Andre Passer about a further 6 seconds away. So those three could still potentially come into a little bit of contact later on. It's not certain yet, but I don't see why it couldn't happen. There's a real chance, and I tell you what, if this is the state of things to come. Now, we always say as well that Simraceway, our championship finales are always the best. There's nothing that beats a Simraceway championship finale. It always comes down to the wire. It's always unpredictable, and you just never know what you're going to get. And if this is setting the standard, then I cannot wait for what we're going to see next week, because it really is going to set the bar even higher than we're used to. Andre Passer keeps his nose nice and clear in 9th at the moment. We're going to run down the order as things stand at the moment then. So it's B1386 that leads from Doodle 12 in 2nd position. Then it's Mr. Jolly in 3rd. Grafindel still P4. P5 for Elite Speedway. Tyro P6. 7th for AGO6. And then we've got 8th place Popo, sorry. A 9th Andre Passer. 10th for Flo. 11th ATS in Gange. 12th place Mr. PA. 13th and out of the race is Luke Sky. That was back on lap number 27. So Luke Sky out of the race after what was simply a downward spiral, wasn't it? It couldn't get any worse. At one stage he was fighting for the midfield and suddenly just lost all hope. He was spiralling down the order faster than you can say, 6XJ4. And then our last place man was Fly Raceway, retired back on lap 15. But considering the nature of both the circuit and the car, this has been a very low attrition race, which is what we like to see here. No real crashes, no real retirements other than 2. It's been very consistent by the top Skillquant of racers here, which is brilliant to see. It really just goes to show testament to how spatially aware they are, how much respect that these guys have got for each other, both on and off the circuit. You'll often see drivers slowing down if they make contact to let their friend back through or let their peer back through. And as soon as you get off the circuit, there's many conversations between the drivers trying to show that they do have respect for each other, congratulating and supporting, helping to set up, all that kind of thing. It is brilliant to see. As we come towards the B1386, I'm sure his heart rate will start pulsing maybe just a little bit more right now, because he is flying on lap number 57, a 46.5 He really is setting this track alight. You'd think he'd be slowing down, taking it a bit easier. He's doing the opposite. 46.5, 2 tenths faster than when we last checked up on him. Our race leader is taking it up yet another notch again, and he just cannot seem to get enough of it at the moment. No signs of slowing down here for him. I think the rest of the drivers just trying to come to an end, and Popo's caught AG06 very quickly as well. This is a battle you want to keep an eye on. 1 minute, he was 6 seconds away, and now it's almost half that last lap. Was it a problem for AG07 too? No, Popo just 2 tenths faster then. It wasn't even that AG06 was lapping slowly, just more the fact that Popo CZ was lapping just a bit fast. Brilliant news for him. Now let's just see what the future's going to hold. He's going to really push on through this now and almost imitate the clutch, isn't he? He cannot miss out on this. He's got to be at his very best. He's got to hope AG06 makes a mistake as he almost hits that wall there, doesn't he? It was so close. And the two drivers starting to up the tension now. The pulse is starting to rise incredibly quickly. Everyone keeping their eyes purely focused on these two drivers. Identical liveries, but two very different drivers, no doubt about it. And through turn 1, a 47.1 that time to a 47 flat. AG06 back on top in terms of pace that time by. And it definitely is the closest battle on circuit. We've got 3 more laps to go here for B13A6. But the main fight on circuit is going to come from AG06 and Popo, 4 seconds away at the moment. Is that set to change anytime soon? Is it going to decrease? Is it going to maybe catch AG06? We'll find out one way or another. Over the line again, 47.1 for Popo, and it's matched by AGO, and it's not coming down. It's pretty stagnant here as we enter the closing stages. The B13 on the penultimate lap of the race here really has driven his little heart out here today. The man has been nothing short of exceptional. He's been given a platform, given an opportunity, and you've got to take every opportunity you get in life. And B13A6 has taken this with both hands and made it his own. What a drive it's been by this man so far. He took third place at Troyton. It's going to be 2 podiums in 2 races, but this one will feel more rewarding. It's going to be a dominant victory by a margin of close to potentially 40 seconds. He's just a few corners away right now, and what a performance it's been over the chicane. He's taking it a bit slow now, keeping away from all the walls. You can't blame him. Keep the car nice and centered now. You can start drifting around. He's celebrating. The fist will be pumping inside the cockpit. There's only been 50 minutes of racing, but B13A6 goes through the final corner for the 61st time today as your race leader. He took pole position, he's got the fastest lap, and it's a complete triple. B13A6 wins round 2 of your 6XJ4 Championship in the most dominant fashion possible. What a drive by the number 13, and that man will be so poised to jump at Cadwell Park and take a championship bow to win the most part of a $1,000 prize pool. B13 is here to stay. This is a wake up and a warning sign to everyone else. There's a new kid on the block. His name is B13A6. Second place then for Doodle 12 SDEV, their second podium in a row. Good result there for the SDEV boys. And the Go Bananas team will be going bananas again. It was a great drive for SDEV. Third place there for Mr. Jolly. He'll be feeling very jolly about that one again. The Scotsman, he had quite a good race number 1. And yet again, race number 2, he finds himself on the podium. Findle takes 4th, Elite Speedway rounds out your top 5. So 2 SDEV cars inside the top 5. And what about this? Tyro, who not only takes 2nd in the B race that was 38 laps long, he then comes into a 61 lap race with the best of the best and finishes slap bang in the middle of the field. If that man is not one of the best up-and-coming talents in Sim Raceway, then I don't know who is. Tyro made a statement here today that he's here to stay, and he's looking for glory here in Sim Raceway. What a performance by Tyro in 6th. It was AGO6 in 7th place, 8th for Popo, 9th for Andre Carson, 10th for the Flow, 11th in Ganj, 12th PA, and out of the race were Live Sky and Nye Raceway. But that comes us to a close here at what has been an emotional Edmonton. I can assure you, for B1386, he will be absolutely ecstatic here with that race victory, and it's going to be a very intense season finale when we take a look at the championship standings. It's going to go down to the wire. The final round next weekend, Sunday, at about 5 PM GMT here on Dimit-R YouTube channel. I'm assuming it should be on the Sim Raceway YouTube channel, but all details will be revealed on Wednesday as per normal. But as we say, as I think it's time for the emotional goodbyes now. A massive thank you to all of the drivers who've taken part today. You've really put on a show and made Edmonton one of the most fearsome tracks in Sim Raceway. It has been fantastic from start to finish. Every driver and every Skillquant can be proud of how they've driven today, and it's a real testament to say that every single driver has driven with respect, with great care, and nothing short of exciting, passionate driving. It's been brilliant to watch. So our cameraman Dimitri, who week in, week out provides us with such a good broadcast, it's absolutely unbelievable. He's so talented, put so much work in behind the scenes as well to prepping all the results, getting them on screen, giving you guys the best broadcast possible. He really is a real asset to the team. To our event administrator, Kosako, for making all of this possible. I don't know how he does it. It's almost like he's psychic and he knows what car and track combos are going to work well. And if that's true, then next weekend I fear I might lose my voice for good, because it is going to simply go off next weekend at Cadwell Park. He puts so much work in behind the scenes. He doesn't just organise events as well, but reviews all of the races, deals to all of the drivers and the incidents after the races. He's so dedicated to Sim Raceway, and a real tribute to what Sim Raceway should be. A massive thank you as well to Jonathan Haswell for taking the time out to watch this broadcast. We hope everything is well out in California. And again, a massive congratulations on the recent partnership with Laguna Seca and the Sim Raceway Performance Driving Centre. Hopefully, I'll get to go over there at some point this year and say hello. But from myself, Liam Jenkins, thank you to every single one of you that has either raced or taken part in this broadcast today, whether you're just watching, cheering on your friends, or maybe even doing both of them. We'll see you next weekend at Cadwell Park for the finale of the 6XJ4 Championship. You won't want to miss it.